Multiple ESPN sources are chiming in on Myles Garrett trade rumors again. Could he really be moved before the deadline? We're going to look at everything that McAfee, Peter Schrager, and other big names came in and said about Myles Garrett and the possibility of the Cleveland Browns making this move. Welcome in the Browns Report, everybody. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue, and Pat McAfee went as far to even give us a trade destination for Myles Garrett, suggesting on his show today that the Patriots could be making a move for Myles. We'll look at what's going on in New England and why they were brought up specifically. But first, Browns fans, we get to rest up this week. We do not have to endure a loss. We can't lose. The Browns have a bye. So like the video right now. Enjoy this break. Have a fun Sunday. And you can join me on Chat Sports main channel if you want to watch. I'll be streaming for NFL Red Zone. But like the video, enjoy the break. All right, Adam Schefter brought up this for the New England Patriots. On October 28th, they made a flurry of moves. They extended Marcus Jones to a massive deal. They made 2 trades back-to-back. Traded away Keon White, defensive end, to the 49ers, and then traded one of their safeties, Kyle Duggar, to our division rival Pittsburgh Steelers. And what the Patriots have done is freed up so much cap space. I don't even know how it's possible to have over $51 million in cap space at this point of the season. That, of course, is the most in the NFL. The next closest team to the Patriots is the Dallas Cowboys at nearly $31 million. And look at the Cleveland Browns. They're 6th most. They've done a great job freeing up cap after some bad deals in recent history. Andrew Berry's got them up to $22.48 million. But the Patriots being at the top of that list and trading away 2 players yesterday, seems like they're freeing up to make a big move. They're not the only team involved in this, though. Ricky Scoops is back on Twitter. He's usually right when he comes up and drops something, ladies and gentlemen. He says, boo! It's a Halloween edition of the show today. The Cowboys and 49ers are both expected to add defensive linemen before Tuesday's trade deadline, #Dallas Cowboys. Now, we looked at the Cowboys as another suitor potentially for Myles Garrett if this deal were to be done because ESPN's Jeremy Fowler told us so. He said, let's say, totally hypothetically, that the Dallas Cowboys or Los Angeles Rams offered both of the 2026 first-round picks they have as a result of prior trades. Cleveland would be looking at the possibility of having 4 first-round selections in the 2026 draft. The Browns would be able to completely control round 1 and come out of it with whichever quarterback they wanted. The acquiring team would have to pay Garrett a fairly reasonable $31.5 million in fully guaranteed money in 2026 and about $30.5 million in 2027. This is getting scary. I mean, like I said, Halloween's tomorrow, and there's way too much talk about this from way too many sources. I mean, Jeremy Fowler says it's not inconceivable. McAfee says the contract looks tradable. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And if any team could actually afford to get Myles Garrett and make this move, it would probably be the Patriots, like McAfee mentioned. It would probably be the Cowboys, who have the most cap space of any teams in the NFL right now. The Cowboys have 2 first-round picks. If there's any way this deal could actually happen, it would be them. The McAfee Show also brought up Mike Vrabel's connection to Cleveland, how he's a part of the coaching staff last year, probably got to know Myles Garrett a little bit. And it's freaking us out here as Browns fans on the show. But I would come out and say this would not happen, and it certainly, of all times to happen, would not happen right now this year after he literally just requested a trade and then got paid a massive extension. We're getting close to that trade deadline, but I think there's no way the Cleveland Browns could go ahead and do this. Peter Schrager weighed in as well. Another source came over the top, said that salary, the way it's written, it would come back to be eating them for years and years to come. You could argue that, well, gosh, another team would pick up that salary and would eat all of it and would be getting a bargain based on how good he is. I just think the dead cap money is so treacherous that Cleveland, from a salary cap standpoint, it would be really hard to navigate for the next several seasons. And I think that is the biggest issue here. It would be nearly $41 million in dead money for the Cleveland Browns in 2026. And you'd literally be trading away your best player to take a massive dead money hit. I mean, we're finally getting to the point where Deshaun Watson's contract runs out, and you're going to take on another massive dead cap hit. Makes no sense, and Adam Schefter told us it really makes no sense. For those wondering if the Browns would consider trading Myles Garrett by Tuesday's deadline, the answer, in the words of one source, no chance. Source added, people have a better chance of winning the lottery. Schefter's saying there is no way this deal could get done right now this season. I'm leaning towards the Schefter side of it. It is crazy that this many ESPN people are talking about it being a possibility, though. But if there's one I trust most, it's Schefter. I don't think the Browns do this deal. It would be an absolute shocking blockbuster if they did. And to my point, it'd be a lot of dead money, and you lose your best guy. What do you think, Browns fans? What say you? The percent chance that the Browns trade Myles Garrett. Scale of 0 to 100, what percent are you giving it for the Browns to pull this off by November 4th? Comment that in that comment section below, Browns fans. Curious what you think. Jerome Fowler wasn't done talking about Cleveland Browns trade rumors, though. Says that the Browns could get calls on key players on expiring deals, such as David Njoku, who we've talked about on this very show, and Wyatt Teller, who was also listed as a trade candidate from Adam Schefter. Both of them were, in fact. And so we've talked about both of them. I know the offensive line for Cleveland, though, is an issue this year, but Teller is on a contract year. But the guards, Bitonio and Teller, have actually been playing pretty well. Run blocking wise, it's pass blocking and tackles on the outside that are hurting the Cleveland Browns. Fowler then mentioned a trade target, Commanders tight end Ben Sinnott. So he mentions Njoku could be traded, and then if he had to pick one trade target for Cleveland, well, it would be the third string tight end on Washington's roster right now. That's right, he's barely even getting much playing time, but he was a great prospect, second round pick out of Kansas State, 6'4". He can block. Cleveland could use him in 13 personnel. He's also had a couple big receptions this season, including a 22-yarder. But the fact that his name's being brought up as a trade target, couldn't David Njoku be on the move? We looked at this recently because the Browns went out and made a couple sneaky practice squad and active roster signings. I mean, remember, they claimed Brendan Bates, our former tight end who was on the Texans, and then they signed Caden Prescore into the practice squad. Why do you add two tight ends on the same day? It's starting to seem like David Njoku trade rumors are heating up in Cleveland. Fannin has been super productive. He's been balling out. He's tight end one. He outsnapped Njoku last week, which is crazy to think. So we'll be monitoring this super closely before Tuesday. That's why you want to make sure you're subscribed to the Browns Report, because if anything happens with Njoku, we'll hop on here immediately and tell you what it is and why it happened. Coming up on the show, we have a Browns-Patriots trade that may actually happen. Jeremy Fowler dove into this one, and it seems like the most likely option to me. But first, super excited to tell you that this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with PrizePicks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Football is in full swing now on Sundays. All is right with the world, and I'm big into daily fantasy with PrizePicks. I'm obsessed with it because it makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least two player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. PrizePicks also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks won't count it as a loss. I'm hoping for some wins with my lineup this week. Give me Bryce Young, more than half a passing touchdown, and C.J. Stroud, more than half a passing touchdown. Finally, Bills-Chiefs this week. Josh Allen, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. That's my lineup. You can make the same one if you want, but you got to download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It is good to be right. All right, folks, we've got some more rumors. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler has another Browns trade that he thinks could be in the works. In fact, ESPN thinks it's the most likely trade that the Cleveland Browns make by Tuesday. Here's what Jeremy Fowler had to say. The Browns probably will be inclined to trade players. They have been among the most aggressive teams thus far with 3 in-season trades. They remain open to swinging at least one more deal, but talks have not intensified yet. Running back Jerome Ford is available if the running back market heats up. And Ricky Scoops is back to tell us today, October 30th, the Patriots will be adding a new running back via trade by Tuesday. Thank you all for your attention to this matter, and happy Halloween. So the market is heating up. The Patriots had been in running back talks for a little while. We've got the inside source now telling us they will be adding one, and who will it be? Browns beat reporter Daniel Oyefusi says, if there's anyone the Browns may trade, it's Ford. Fowler previously suggested that the Browns are open to dealing Ford, who has split snaps with Dylan Sampson, behind rookie running back Quinshon Judkins. With Ford in the final year of his rookie contract and the Browns getting younger at the position, Cleveland could look to continue stockpiling picks in future drafts. The Browns certainly are collecting lots of draft picks, have been sellers so far. And Jerome Ford, when you look at the numbers, he's had an impact the past couple years for Cleveland. Over 1,400 yards combined in 24 and 23, including an 800-yard season in 2023, where he played all 17 games. I mean, he's been a viable option in years past. I think his value this season maybe looks worse, but that's because he's on a contract year, and he's had some flashes in the National Football League. He also has special teams value. We use him in the return game, and that's exactly what the Patriots are looking for. It's a running back that can be used in the return game as well as the run game. They have running back injuries. They lost Antonio Gibson for the year. Ramondre Stevenson a little bit hurt as well, and so that depth chart is starting to lack a little bit. Seems like they're going to go out and make a move. Jerome Ford to the Patriots could be a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll take another draft pick. Why not? Let's stockpile. We've got 2 young running backs in Cleveland, 2 rookies. Ford, free agent next year. I don't see us bringing him back. If we can get a draft pick for Jerome Ford, I'm in on that. Ship him away. The question is, what draft pick would it be? Be the GM, Browns fans. What do you think we could get for Jerome Ford? From rounds 1 to 7, comment the NFL draft pick the Browns could get for Jerome Ford. You'd have to imagine it'd be on the later side. I mean, I'd love to swindle a 5th. It'd be pretty good. You could, with the numbers he had the past couple of years, the Patriots or another team's that desperate, maybe. But it seemed more like it would be like a pick swap or like a 6th or a 7th. Let me know in the comment section, Browns fans. And thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Folks, we're less than a week away from a trade deadline, so you're not going to want to miss when the moves happen. We got you covered. Turn those notifications on as well. And we thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the Browns Report. We will see you next time.